Forget hunting rifles. This time, we're going full draw on feral hogs. Now, these aren't your average everyday pen pigs. They're smart, shielded, and won't wait around. So what bow setups are actually punching tags and punching through gristle? In this breakdown, we're running through 7 proven rigs, recurves, and compound bows, each paired with the right shaft and broadhead to drop hogs fast. So without further ado, number 7, PSE Nighthawk recurve. The Nighthawk feels like an old-school hunting bow, yet throws a 500-grain Eastern Axis traditional shaft with surprising authority, all for just $200. Set the limbs at 55 pounds, use the factory B50 string, and you'll see chronograph readings around 175 FPS. Slow on paper, but that 15% front of center weight carries 34 foot-pounds of momentum. Thread on a 125-grain Magnus Stinger, and the rig weighs exactly half a kilogram. The cut-on contact edge glides through cartilage and into both lungs when the shot is kept within 20 yards. I ground blind this bow over palmetto wallows because hogs eventually drift past at nose level. Waiting until the boar's near leg steps forward opens the crease behind the plate and avoids wasted penetration on shield. Shoot from the knees, cant the bow 30 degrees, and anchor hard to keep the top limb clear of the blind roof. Before season opens, walk your shooting lanes with pruning shears and trim only what's necessary. The lighter Nighthawk loves a clean swing path. Stump shoot on the way out to ingrain gap sight picture at unknown distances, because hogs rarely pause at exact yardages. A spare Flemish string kept in a zip bag guarantees that you're never sidelined by a surprise fray. Carbon shafts tame paradox, but I still spine match at 400 to stop fishtailing. Wax the string every other outing. The Florida humidity will fuzz up Dacron quickly. Replace the feather fletch with 4-inch low-profile blazers if afternoon showers loom. Wet feathers destabilize light rear ends. Tuning is simple. Raise brace to 8 inches, paper check at 6 feet, and knock till the tear goes vertical. The Nighthawk ranks 7th because it's a gateway rig, affordable, forgiving, and deadly on pigs under 200 pounds. Perfect for new traditional hunters who want real results before upgrading. Number 6. Bear Grizzly recurve. The Grizzly has prowled woodlots since 1950, and at $450, it remains a hard-shooting single piece. Mine pulls 58 pounds at 28 inches and launches 575-grain gold-tip traditional at 182 FPS, producing 41 foot-pounds of kinetic energy, plenty for quarter-away shots on boars pushing 3 bills. I stock with the string dampened by wool puff silencers and grip wrapped into strip gauze so sweat doesn't squeak when I draw. The bow's quiet enough that the first sow often flees only 10 yards, freezes, and drags the rest of the sounder back into range. Apply unscented mink oil on the Grizzly's leather grip the evening before a hunt. It quiets creaks and improves purchase when palms sweat under humidity. When stalking, thread broadhead tips through waist-high grass to part it silently, rather than lifting limbs over. Closing the final 15 yards this way keeps the single bevel's first bite reserved for cartilage, not grass stems. Best practice is patience. Watch feeding cadence. The mature hog usually trails the group by 2 minutes, nose high and testing wind. Kneel, freeze, and wait for that broadhead to pass the last cypress. Then, slip the arrow behind the last rib. The heavy shaft exits ahead of the offside shoulder every time. Maintain the bow by oiling the maple riser monthly and unstringing after each hunt. Hot truck beds weaken those old laminated limbs. The bear lands at 6 because it blends nostalgia with enough thump to crack a shield. Ideal for hunters who like instinctive aiming yet want modern penetration. Still with me, hunters? Hit subscribe. Quieter than a drawn bow, faster than a charging hog. No fluff, just the top broadheads that hit hard and fly true. Join the crew that hunts smart and sharp. Gear that gets the job done. Number 5. Samick Sage Takedown recurve. 65 years of bow design meet thrift at just a $160 street price. The Sage Takedown packs small for airline travel to Texas peanut fields, assembles in seconds, and with 55-pound limbs launches a 525-grain Carbon Express Heritage at 180 FPS. A 135-grain Zwickey Escalite 2-edge rides up front, yielding a 17% FOC arrow that buries to the fletch on pigs under 250 pounds. Screw and brass adapters push overall arrow weight without pricey microshafts. Because sage limb bolts can loosen after long ATV rides, paint a tiny witness mark across each bolt and riser with white nail polish. A quick glance in dim light shows any shift. Practice snap shooting from awkward seated angles. Bores often materialize on the wrong side of a deadfall, and an unplanned torso twist beats slowly standing every time. On stand, I knock at 3/8 high to get perfect vertical tear, then set brace at 7.5. The sage responds to beaver ball silencers and a 15 stand Flemish twist. Noise drops below a cottonmouth's hiss. Best practice with this combo is daylight ambush on travel corridors instead of feeders. The quiet bow and moderate speed forgive less than perfect angles if you're within 18 yards. Always aim low. The heart sits under the line of the brisket, and hogs drop at the swish of a feather. Replace factory rug rest with calf hair to hold up against sand grit. And check limb bolts for creep after every 50 shots. The sage earns slot 5 because it democratizes trad success. It lacks the refinement of custom bows, but still punches hog tags reliably. Number 5. Elite Envision Compound. Let's now move into modern engineering. The $1,200 Envision at 70 pounds and 28.5-inch draw spits a 550 grain gold tip Hunter XT at 282 FPS, delivering 96 foot-pounds of kinetic energy and 0.64 slug feet per second of momentum. Numbers that flatten scapulae. Fixed G5 Montec 125 screw straight into the insert. Their one-piece steel bodies tolerate mud, sand, and washed-out river crossings. I paper tune at 6 feet until bullet holes appear, then broadhead group at 40 yards. The Montecs hit with field points after one twist of the top yoke. Cable stops give a crisp wall. Holding half a minute while a bore angles can't fatigue shoulders. The Envision's cable guard roller tracks grit. Blast with canned air, then smear a pinpoint of lithium grease before each 3-day stretch in sand country. When ranging multiple pigs, memorize the tallest hog's shoulder height as an instant yardage cue. If dust, rain, or fog blinds your laser, that shoulder measurement will save the shot window while others fumble. Best practice here is precision range finding. I pair a sig kilo with angle compensation, click on the Envision sight, and float the pin low third. 90% of my pigs tip within 40 yards after a double lung. The bow's set technology lets you micro-adjust cam attitude so arrows launch straight, minimizing planing through coarse hide. Keep the cam's wax and press check timing after dragging hogs. Sand can derail a string in swamp grass. The Envision sits fourth because it blends speed, shootability, and rugged build for hunters who want compound convenience, yet trust fixed blades over mechanical tricks. Number 3. Bowtech Solution Compound. At $1,299, the solution brings deadlock cams that tune left-right without a press, making broadhead flight almost boring. 68-pound limbs fling a 525 grain Carbon Express Maxima Red at 290 FPS, 98 foot-pounds on impact. A 100 grain Q80 Exodus with full steel ferrule and short blades favors punch over diameter. Zero torque grip and 32-inch axle length help when shooting side hill and oak draws. Bow balance stays neutral while you stretch one leg downhill and ease into anchor. Deadlock cams let you tweak point of impact mid-hunt, but mark your starting axle-to-axle length with a Sharpie on the limb sticker so you can always return to zero under headlamp. Carry bright orange screw-in reflectors and mark hit locations before trailing. The Maxima's Nox sometimes pops free on exit, and you'll want breadcrumbs leading back if recovery drifts past midnight. Best practice is elevated over bait. Set the feeder to throw corn 90 minutes before dark. Climb to 18 feet and clip your tether short so you can lean hard at steep angles. Hogs swirl before committing. Wait until that lead sow cracks kernels. Range the big bore, dial the bubble level sight, and send it. The Exodus cuts through shield, deflects off rib, and slices heart. Expect limited blood at first. The greasy hole seals, so mark the trail with orange flagging immediately. I follow with thermal monocular once legal light ends. The solution ranks third. Fast, tunable, forgiving. It bridges weekend trips and week-long expeditions without throwing wrenches. Number 2. Matthews V3X Compound. Matthews asks $1,299, but gives silence with a capital S. 70-pound limbs and 29-inch draw hurl a 575 grain Easton Axis 5mm at 285 FPS, 105 foot-pounds. The Iron Will Wide 125 retains razor edge through sand and bone. Exit holes exceed 2 inches when ribs are spread. I build FOC to 16% using 50-grain inserts. Bridge lock dovetail sight and stay afield system cable minimize infield tools. If a string pick frays after belly crawl, I swap within minutes. Install a 2-ounce back bar angled 30 degrees left. That counterweight settles the V3X's bubble on steep downhill quarters common along creek bluffs. When belly crawling, position the arrow's broadhead inside a neoprene hood fashioned from a trimmed shotgun shell pouch. It prevents blade dings and eliminates the metallic tink that alerts suspicious boars rooting mere yards ahead of you. This bow begs for spot and stock. Cut wind, glass to confirm feeding direction, then move during head-down rooting. Keep the arrow knocked, but safety clip the string loop to your release so vegetation can't pop it off. The roller guard and switch weight mods maintain draw smoothness even in awkward positions. I've dropped to both knees behind a stump, drawn, and sent a shaft through 280-pound boar longs at 13 yards without a squeak. Regular best practice is string wax every other hunt and torque tune by rotating the bar mount stabilizer outward until arrows group no matter grip pressure. The V3X lands in second because it balances silence, power, and field service convenience. Prime for hunters who crawl after daylight boars where a single creek blows the deal. Number 1. Hoyt RX-7 Carbon Compound. At $1,749, the RX-7 isn't cheap, yet for armor-plated giants, it delivers. The carbon riser shrugs off 75-degree swamp humidity and 50-degree dawn temperature swings without losing tune. 70-pound limbs and 29-inch draw launch a 600-grain Victory Rip TKO with 18% FOC at 288 FPS, creating 110 foot-pounds of 0.77 slug feet per second of momentum. A 125-grain Magnus Black Hornet with Tanto tip chews an inch of cartilage, splits rib, and exits opposite shield when you bury it tight to the elbow. Inline pick rail sight and integrate QAD rest keep mass centered. The bow points like a recurve in brush tunnels. The RX-7's carbon riser amplifies cold, so wrap the grip with hockey tape in winter to preserve felt warmth and steady pulse. Keep a micro screwdriver taped inside the quiver hood. If the integrate rest's clamp screw loosens after a cart drag, you'll re-square it in seconds. Finally, memorize the arrow's sonic report. On this bow, pitch alone tells hit quality instantly. I hunt late afternoons when thermals fall toward river bottoms. Pig noses follow cool air downhill. Position crosswind above a mud hole, clip to the draw loop, and anchor when the target splashes. Carbon limbs and shock pads render the shot a muted thunk. Boars often spin but rarely sprint more than 50 yards. Practice drawing while seated on a 5-gallon bucket. The RX-7's silky cams make full draw from awkward seats feasible, crucial inside ground blinds where windows sit low. Weekly maintenance means wiping riser with silicone cloth and checking limb pocket bolts. Carbon doesn't rust, but sweat salts steel bushings. The RX-7 tops this list because it provides lethal energy, featherweight balance, and whisper quiet release. The combination that ends shielded hogs quickly and ethically. And that wraps up our countdown of hog-killing bows and heads that actually work in the field. If you've got a bow setup or tip that's flattened more hogs than you can count, make sure to drop it down in the comments down below. Smash that like button, share this video with your bow hunting crew, and subscribe for more no-nonsense breakdowns from the brush line. Appreciate you for watching.